Raj Srivatsav, members of the board, associate deans, faculty, staff of ISB, guests, my dear graduating class of PGPMAX, PGP, MFAB, and PGPpro, the family and friends of the graduating class, a good morning to all of you. Hearty congratulations to each of the graduating student. Your passion, your commitment, your hard work for last many months are handsomely rewarding you with rich dividends today. I am very excited to be a part of these celebrations. I was very impressed with the 4 young speakers who spoke from this class, and so did Professor Raj Srivatsav did. And what made me so impressive and so pleased is that several of the remarks that I intend to make as we move forward are already being covered by people. If you look at the key buzzwords I was recalling, we talked about values, we talked about dreams, we talked about innovation, we talked about entrepreneurship, we talked about learning. These are the key things I'm sure are ringing in your ears, and I certainly want to reinforce that as we move forward. In another way, it's a great day. Unusual for Hyderabad to experience showers in this part of the year. You see that little drizzle that's going around. It's very auspicious to all of you to say that the gods are blessing you with those showers. So again, congratulations to all of you. As you celebrate, let us pause for a moment and acknowledge and express gratitude to all the people who have supported you, guided you, and stood by you through this phase. Your family, the faculty, friends, and for many of you, your organization, which have sponsored you, and above all, this incredible institution. We all heard all the statistics from Professor Raj Srivatsav. Everything is only going up in this institution, be it Wall Street or be it the Financial Express. It doesn't matter. It only reflects back how consistently all the stakeholders are working hard to make sure this institute grows from strength to strength. So can we now join our hands to thank all those people who built this incredible institution in the city of Hyderabad. As you complete your course, a few thoughts might have already set your I'll take that back. As you complete your course, a few of you might have already set your eyes on coveted positions in your organizations. A few might be intending to start or scale up your enterprises. And a few of you might be chalking out plans to give shape to your dreams. I had a dream too. I had a dream too way back in the 90s. I had a dream to build a global, scalable, successful, sustainable company. This was early 1990s. Economic liberalization was a new mantra for startups, and the winds of change for accelerated globalization were clearly being felt. Cost of designing products was prohibitively expensive in the Western world. When some of the work could be done in India with the cost advantage, we could reduce the product development costs dramatically. To give you a flavor, to design an aircraft engine, a greenfield project, it would cost an American company $1.5 billion. They partnered with an Indian company to do it for about $900 million. That's the advantage people get in doing this work back in India. Thereafter, it might be fairly obvious today that you know how you could do it. But I'm talking about an early internet era. The wherewithal, the resources, the infrastructure, and the delivery models were neither established nor evident. But I saw a business opportunity in exporting engineering design services and recognized that it had a huge potential. The addressable market at that point of time, as we estimated, was somewhere in the range of about $300 to $400 billion. I set up the company with 4 engineers in my neighborhood, working on a dining table of mine in my modest home. We embarked on our global journey for providing design as a service. Bringing success by making an enterprise scalable and sustainable was the biggest challenge. We addressed the challenges systematically. I'll just talk about 4 of them very briefly. First, we were uncompromising about building the company on the foundation of values. The acronym that we use in our company, it says values first, F-I-R-S-T, fairness, integrity, respect, sincerity. This is something which we breathe in and breathe out. I also insisted on absolute equitability to all the stakeholders who make organizations successful. Very obvious, the customer, the investor, the employee, or we call them as the associates. Not so obvious, the society. So we said we need to be equitable to all the 4 stakeholders. When we raised money from the public, it was with the belief that once we touch others' money, we become custodians of public wealth. I repeat this because I get into trouble with some of my young startup friends occasionally. Please, if you start thinking about touching anybody's money, you've got to believe that it's not your company any longer, but you're running a public company, and you are playing the role of a custodian of public money. The second was evolving processes to maintain quality at scale. We relentlessly worked to differentiate. Over and above the standard ISO, CMMI, and other quality certifications, we built a business excellence tool that touched upon all parameters of quality, cost, productivity, customer satisfaction, and associate satisfaction. We call this tool as BEST, Business Excellence Standardization, which became the backbone for our operating organization. Third, we continuously rediscovered ourselves with innovation. We redefined our service offerings persistently. From services, we migrated to subsystem design and started offering engineering solutions as well. In parallel, we started building products, and in some cases, we supported them. As we started delivering higher value as opposed to just the cost arbitrage, some of our customers stuck with us for over 20 years, bringing just not success to the organization, but more importantly, sustainability to this enterprise. Innovation became the DNA of the organization. My last lesson, or the 4th one, is that we invested in our people. We nurtured capable leaders and implemented a succession plan. including for people like me. I gave up my role of being the CEO of the company 4 years back, and certainly it's gratifying at the end of it because the company seemed to be doing much better than when I was the CEO. Our ability to attract, reward, retain, and retrain talent helped us consistently deliver quality and innovation to our customers over and over again. What did all this mean is what Professor Raj Srivastava was very gracious to make those remarks about what our company was. But I'd like to just add that in addition to the 15,000 jobs or the $3 billion of cumulative revenue, or it's not or, and now, two other things that I like to add is a rupee invested in our public issue way back in 1997, 20 years later, multiplied itself 500 times. That's the value we created to our shareholders. Equally importantly, our corporate social responsibility touches hearts of 30,000 children every year, be it in terms of education or infrastructure. That's what these schools do for us. It is quite gratifying to be able to contribute my part to the industry and the society since I've been an entrepreneur 27 years back. Let me move on to my second part and share with you that whatever dreams you may pursue, please be convinced that going forward, you will be operating in the intersection of what I call them as the Industry 4.0, the Globalization 4.0, and Education 4.0. Please don't mistake that 4 is my lucky number, so I'm trying to make up this 4, but this is absolutely documented evidence to say how the world is moving in these 3 directions. Allow me to elaborate on the dynamics of this era. The newer technologies brought about by Industry 4.0 are disrupting almost every industry at an accelerated pace, and that is heralding an unprecedented change. The change we see in technology today has never been experienced by mankind, both in terms of acceleration and amplification. What we also further find is that the technology today has become all-pervasive. It is no longer confined to an industry or providing information to you. So the technology has become absolutely the big pillar for our future. A change where little is certain, the tempo is quicker, and the dynamics are more complex. On the other hand, the opportunities and the social impact of 4.0 is bringing about is phenomenal. I'm sorry, I should have read. On one hand, the opportunities and the social impact Industry 4.0 is bringing about is phenomenal. On the other hand, the associated challenges coinciding with the rapid emergence of ecological constraints, multipolar international order, and rising inequality is posing challenges. These integrated developments are ushering in a new era of globalization, or what is now being branded as Globalization 4.0. How we improve the human conditions in this backdrop will completely depend on how each of the stakeholders, industry, government, civil society, individually and collectively operate, respond, cooperate, and adapt in time to build an inclusive future. Having said that, I would like to emphasize that the opportunity from Globalization 4.0 presents to India as a country as the country builds strong technological capabilities and creates a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem with positive policy push, India can seize much greater pie of the world economy buoyed by the strong domestic demand. To be able to respond suitably to the needs of Industry 4.0 and successfully take on the opportunities and challenges presented by Globalization 4.0, India needs to relook at the education system on a priority basis. The country needs to adopt the principles of Education 4.0, which is to harness the potential of digital technologies, open-sourced content, and personalized curricula. Education 4.0 establishes a blueprint for the future learning. In fact, lifelong learning, from schooling to continuous upskilling and reskilling at the workplace. So let me conclude. As the leaders of this era, you are certainly forging a progressive path for this country. I encourage you to learn continuously, adapt swiftly, be inclusive, and stay hyper-relevant. Because to me, relevance is the beating heart of a living business. Let me repeat, to me, relevance is the beating heart of a living business. Today, ideas and innovation are more valuable than material possessions. Technology innovations have erased borders, unified cultures, and improved social and economic indices across the world. So invest in knowledge and innovation. Finally, especially from people like me, it could surprise you, experience is an unreliable guide to future outcomes in this era. In the era that you live, experience is not going to be a guide for you. It's an unreliable guide, according to me. Please nurture cultures of constructive skepticism and build meaningful collaboration with people, organizations, and the society. Leading and thriving amidst the complexity and chaos will be gratifying. You can do more for people and the society than it has ever been possible at any point of time in human history. Lastly, my friends, be healthy, be hungry, and be humble. I wish you all the very best. God bless you.